All right. Now, see, there's going to be something here that stops pitting Dave against Fez. Because Tappy, you're already tapping over there today. You're going like hell. What happened to you last night?
I don't know. I was just worried about stuff, and I ended up waking up out of my sleep. I had a crazy nightmare of gunshots going off in this building. It was insane.
Is this your I'm afraid of Anthony again dream? Gunshots in this building is tough enough even to get in. I had to take my shoes off to get in the elevator like it was a fucking airplane.
I don't even know if you can bring outside food into here.
You worry while you sleep?
Yeah, oh yeah. I have nightmares probably 4 out of 7 nights.
But you're worried, and you wake up worried.
Yeah.
Like, not like, oh, I had a crazy dream, but you worry about real life while you sleep.
Yes, yeah. It all just rolls on in my big empty head. Yeah, it just goes around and around, and then I end up waking up.
What concerns do you have? Everything's going great in your life.
Yeah, I just don't feel like I'm doing the right things. What
things are you doing wrong?
I don't feel like I'm doing good enough here.
You stink here, but you've stunk here for 4 or 5 years.
Right.
No one gives a fuck.
Yeah, but I don't want to stink here.
You could start doing great, and it would take us 5 years to fix our reputation easily. So why worry? Let's go over here to Sal. Sal, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, why not dress up as Fez? I mean, he's doing everything else. I miss Billy Staples.
There's Radio Shark. They just pick on you, Fezzy. Danny, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, boys. I know he galloped away, but how about the Midnight Rider?
Boy, it's been a long time since we saw the Midnight Rider. He just had one more silver dollar, but he ain't going to let him catch him, no. He ain't going to let him catch the Midnight Rider.
I can talk to the Midnight Rider, but we're not the same person.
I would love to dress your kids up as the Midnight Riders.
Well, just the small cowboy hat's enough. Would be good.
Yeah, it would not be bad at all.
Maybe I will come up with a little costume for them. Maybe I'll just have I'll put a little sock over their head.
The midnight strollers when they're out in their carriage.
Here's Mike. Mike, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, buddies. How about you take out one of Fez's stints and you can make that the mascot?
See, I'm going to need both of those stents. They're keeping arteries open.
Truth bomb. Fezzy, this came up in a conversation yesterday and had to look it up. Let's suppose you're out at a restaurant. Let's suppose the four of us were out at a restaurant. You and I got our food. We're still waiting for Dave and Hicks to get their food. Do you start eating?
No, I would wait. I would do my best to wait. Mm-hmm. Now, it doesn't always work for me, but that is my goal. Every now and then.
Let me ask you, why is that your goal?
Because I think it's polite to wait till everybody has their food.
Hicks, what about you?
I eat slowly. I'll take a little bit of time waiting for them to get their food. So I'll have something to eat with them, but I'm still hungry. I don't need my food.
Dave McDonald, what would you do?
Definitely start eating. I don't wait a second for the other person. I'm going to enjoy my meal the way it should be eaten, which is nice and hot. And then when you get your meal, you're going to enjoy it too.
Well, now, what would you say to him, Fez? Like, let's suppose we were out with the bosses and he started to eat like that.
I would say if we're out with the bosses, I would try to say it politely. What the hell are you doing, you fucking maniac?
Now, why is he a maniac?
Because it looks like an animal to start just diving into your food before everyone else has been served. It takes the socialness out of the meal.
I was told that this, according to the fucking, the Miss Manners. I don't know if it was Miss Manners, but it was one of those fucked up people. One of those fucking ham and eggers who makes a living telling people about their faux pas. One of you is absolutely correct. The rule of thumb is like this. Food is to be eaten hot, and the other people will enjoy their meal as their food comes in. Believe it or not, the person following the fucking manners is Dave McDonald.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
I'm telling you the truth. I went and looked, after being told it, I went and looked it up. And I was stunned. Now, one of the places that it doesn't is if only one person gets the meal, and that's because then everybody would just be staring at that person.
Right.
So it would be rough on that person, not the people without food. But the person who's right about this, in terms of social etiquette, once again, Dave McDonald. Unbelievable.
Thank you. Well, I was
And the reasoning is exactly what Dave said.
Yeah.
Food is to be eaten hot, and everybody will have be able to enjoy their hot food.
I am absolutely shocked at that. I mean, I wouldn't think that your food would cool down that much, while waiting for another dish to be served.
I disagree there.
I mean, so if I get a soup and you get a salad and they bring my soup out, I have to wait while my beautiful French onion soup goes chili on me because you're waiting for your stupid ranch dressing?
Dude, you struck oil. You have to stop.
Right.
Here's what I don't understand. I mean, first of all, you expect every restaurant, if the four of us ordered 4 different things, they should all show up at the same time.
Right.
But to me, now I've never worked as a chef, but that seems like the most difficult thing in the world to pull that off perfectly without one of them sitting under a lamp for fucking 15 minutes and being ruined. But the restaurants, by and large, fucking pull this off, which I find to be just fascinating. Michelle, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
I eat like Dave, too, but I went to Europe, and every day I would be good, and I would wait for everybody to get their food. We were there for a whole week, and we were traveling with a bunch of people that we were not really friends with, but anyway, that doesn't matter. And so we would all get served, one person at a time, and every day I would wait to not eat my food, and I always had cold friggin' food. The last day, I was starving, and I was tired of cold food. I started to eat my food before everybody got served, and it was like everybody went, like, I just slit the lady's throat or something.
But I'm going to try to get the person's name who said this so that I have it properly down. But if you really, but the fact is, the way Dave said it was almost verbatim of the way, the exact way that I was quoted, that the food is to be served hot. And first of all, these fucking, I'm eating with strangers. Stop it. Stop acting like I gotta wait for strangers. And most manners have to do with making people feel comfortable, not with a formality. That we honestly feel like, the reason that people are afraid of manners is they're afraid of, formality. They're afraid of a faux pas. But the fact of the matter is, it's about taking the people there at that social setting and making them feel comfortable.
See, it seems like if one person started eating before the others, that would throw off the socialness or the dynamics of the meal.
Well, you came up with the thing. One person doesn't count. It's when at least 2 get served before the other. And again, it really comes down to how social is the eating. It's really about the talking, the conversation. It's just like, let's suppose, let's go to coffee and dessert. I want coffee and dessert, blah, blah, blah. No, I don't want any. Does that person now, has they thrown off the, the social dynamic of the meal? Or could that person be comfortable enough to say, I really don't want a piece of fucking pie. You people have got to eventually stop eating. Dan, you're on Ron and Fez.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
My thing is, if you're out with guys, it's fine, go in. But you're out with the chick, you don't want to just sit there and start eating in front of her.
Right.
Well,
if it's 2 people, you're exactly right. If one person gets it, you don't do it that way. We're talking about in a setting where there's, a table full of people. Some of the people get their food. Those people are more than welcome to start on their meal. Now, what I will do is start to, if I don't get my food and they do, I'll be like, those fries look great. I think I'm going to take some. And I will always make sure I get some of the fries and act like I'm going to give some back. No, I'm not. I'm keeping my fucking fries too. That's a penalty for getting your fries earlier than everybody else. Here is Here is John. John, you're on Run of Fez.
Ronnie B, you sound like $1 million.
Thank you.
There are some schools of thought, primarily in Europe, that state that the table cannot start eating until the hostess or host receives their food.
Okay, now you're talking about a different situation, and that's a dinner party. And that is more of the social setting that Fez was talking about. But at a dinner party, all the food should come out at the same time. There are some places that do the thing where, let's say there's 4 of us, and the 4 plates show up by 4 waiters, and then they present the meal all at the same time. I actually find that a little fucking annoying. You know, that's a little too much there. Here's Colin. Colin, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys got the how, but not the why. The reason it's disrespectful to not eat your food when it's hot is it's disrespectful to the chef and to the people that are back in the hot kitchen that are battling a pirate ship to get that food out to you a certain way by a certain time.
All right, Colin, you work in a restaurant, I take it?
No, not anymore. I used to, but...
Well, we'll get this straight. When I'm paying, it's respectful when I pay my check. I'm not going to sit there and worry I made the chef fucking cry by not eating the fucking clams fast enough.
It seems like it would affect the conversation, too. Like, 2 people would get to that full feeling well before the other people did, and it's like you're not having the same experience there.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about with that. What are you saying? That as you're eating, you get full,
right?
And then you stop talking.
Yeah, where it's like, where everyone doesn't get to that full sensation. Some people are done eating, they want to talk. Other people are trying to eat their meal that they haven't finished yet. Seems like it would throw it all off.
I'm not really. My point, I don't think that you're really, if you're out in that kind of thing, you're trying to eat as much as you can, as if you were eating home in front of your sink. So I'm not sure in a social thing that you really want to get stuffed anyway. Yes, when we go out to Florio's, we do. I'm not going to lie to you, but we eat family style. And we also continue to smoke during the meal. By the way, they haven't been smoking inside there lately. You got to smoke out front. The fucking cops are just riding that guy. And I found that out when Tommy Z sent me an email, and then he also has a new cougar up. Here's Scott. Scott, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, Ronnie B. In college, we had to take these bullshit sales classes, and they always had a section in there on ethics, how to not act like a savage at the dining table with clients. And they said when half the people are served, it's okay to start your meal. They went back to the Emily Post etiquette book.
Yes, that's, I believe, who I checked it with, too, was the Emily Post. So that's why I gave the Fez and I could start, and the other 2 are watching. It's fine. And most of this stuff, people don't even realize this with even the really top 5-star restaurants anymore. That old-style formality of eating about which fork, blah, 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 it's almost out the fucking window. There's very few places that go for that real old-style service. Normally now, if you have different forks, the waiters put them out per plate as they change the plates. So people that are afraid of really nice restaurants, you don't have to do it anymore. It's really it's really a comfortable place to go out anymore. Matt, you're on Run Fez.
Hey, Ronnie, I was actually at a business meeting and four guys at the table, and my food was late, so I did the Dave McDonald's. Hey, just go ahead and start eating. Food thought it was steaks. So restaurant, it was at least 10, 15 minutes. Then all of a sudden I get my food. So I'm eating. They all get done, and it was almost like one of the guys was annoyed that I was still taking my time eating, even though I waited for them to start. So that kind of pissed me off in the reverse.
Yeah, first of all, I don't think that, the kind of stuff that Fez is, and probably in terms of that, is you really shouldn't comment on the way other people eat and how fast they eat and how slow they eat. Particularly to a woman, I've been out to fucking places before, and like a waitress or a waiter will say to the woman when they're taking the plate away, "Wow, you were hungry," and it just will ruin the night for people.
That is the worst thing in the world to hear in a restaurant.
worse than was there something wrong? You didn't like this at all? And then you have to lie and act like, oh, I was just picking around. I ate something before I got here. Why don't you just leave that alone? Stop acting like the other person's fucking habits are so important to you.
I would say, boy, you were hungry is probably the worst thing. Or when you just order stuff and, and they have to tell you that that's a lot of food.
But see, you tell me that you feel bad if you don't clean your plate. And I don't know if I've ever been with you where you haven't had a clean plate.
Right, yeah. I'm going to make sure the plate is clean.
What reason?
Because I don't want to turn in uneaten food.
But then you said you get upset if they say you ate all your food.
Yeah, because then it's like, oh, I was a pig. Yeah. It's like if you could clean the plate and then just have it taken away. That would be perfect.
But why do you feel like you have to eat every single thing?
Because I don't want the question of was there something wrong. I don't want to be confronted on it.
See, a lot of your dining experience, and I think one of the reasons why you like to eat alone and you don't go out to restaurants much, is it all seems to be about consumption. You know what I mean? How much got into your belly. Very little of it has to do with taste. And very little of it seems to have to do with conversation.
Right. When I order something in a restaurant, I always wonder about, am I ordering too many things? Like, even if it was like a burger and a fries.
Right.
And I throw in a milkshake, too. To go, is that person going to look at me like,
What person?
The waiter.
It's the waiter's job to bring you food.
Mm-hmm.
Why would they make any assumptions about what you want to do there?
Because everyone has, preconceived notions. You see someone?
No, I don't think so. Dave, you were a waiter for a long time. Did you care how much the people ate and didn't eat?
No, actually, I loved when people overate. Not only that, but if I saw a larger person and they didn't get a big meal, I was quite frankly disappointed and wish I hadn't gotten that table.
Yeah, I have a couple of things that are always interesting to me, Fez, and always comes back to this. Number one, you always assume that your instincts are wrong. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I want to do something, but I have to cover it up.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you're acting like you got caught masturbating outside, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, the fact that a person goes to a restaurant. Now, if I'm the waiter, I don't know whether that guy ate on his way there. I don't know whether he just got out of jail and hasn't had good food in a while. Again, what would it matter how much you ate? It wouldn't. I wouldn't even assume if all of us went out and you only ate a little bit or you ate a lot. I wouldn't assume, oh, this guy has an eating disorder of any kind. Mm-hmm. I would think either he's not hungry or he happens to be very hungry right now. But what makes it this stressful thing for you all the time?
I guess it's a thing about thinking that I'm being judged.
Right. By somebody making $3 an hour in tips. Do you see what I'm like? Right. In other words, a guy like Dave, all he's thinking about when he was working is his tips. He knows he's making less than minimum wage. He's paid to be kind, like he was almost like a hooker. A hooker's not going to care whether you come too soon. She just wants to get you out of there and get another fucking thing. The waiter is the same way. He wants you to have a good experience because it's your experience. It's not about his. It's about your experience. He's there to serve you. And then when you move on, you show that you enjoyed that service with a tip.
Going to a restaurant's not a time to be stingy with your appetite. Going to a restaurant's a time...
Particularly a great place.
Right. That's a time to try a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And we're more than happy to accommodate you, Fez.
Now, if I go out and I'm going to do a taster's menu, I went to WD-50, had the taster's menu.
Uh-huh.
It was like 7 or 8 courses. You couldn't eat like this every day. It would be... Your heart would fucking stop. Yet, on the day that you go there, since I'm only going to go there once, twice a year, I want to make sure I'm going there with a good fucking healthy appetite. That person is going to fucking know you're in a nice restaurant, you're ordering the taster's menu, I want you to have a great experience. We're already saying this is not the normal way that we're behaving. You know?
Right. But I would say, like with the taster's menu and it's 8 courses, that's at least set up. The guy knows that it's a package deal there. He's going to be bringing you 8 courses. I think I would feel different if I just sat there ordering 8 different things.
Well, you wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? These are smaller fucking things. This is a tasting course. But you could go out and order 8 tapas at a Spanish place, and they're small, and that's like a party. I don't understand why you think people could judge you, or why they would want to, or even care. If you look at a guy like Dave, how many tables did you have in one night, Dave? How many customers?
Oh, man. I mean, at the most, 40 people.
I have 40 people.
At the most.
He's really, as he's serving you, in his mind, he's thinking about the other tables. What do I got to grab next? Blah, blah, blah. He's not set up like some kind of anthropologist trying to study Fez Whatley. And who cares if he does? You can't stop people from judging you. Just be yourself and move through your life. And maybe you wouldn't wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and blind panics, or, be out front fucking breathing so crazy before a show. Here is Rich. Rich, you're on Run of Fez.
Hey, in Japan, it is rude to completely eat all of the food on your plate because it implies to the chef or the host that you're not given enough to eat.
Yeah, I had read that before, too. And again, each society fucking has their own rules. But if you eat everything over there, it looks like, well, he didn't get enough. We did not serve him enough. Mm-hmm. So it would be just the opposite of what you're concerned about with, I left something behind.
Yeah, that I'm sending back some food that just, was god-awful or something.
Now, which one you think is wrong and which you think is right?
I think I would prefer the Japanese way.
So not your way?
No.
That you do every single time you've ever ate. You've now just decided that something is better than your way.
No, because I've stuffed myself, in order to clean a plate, to try to finish up. I've overeaten to the point of being uncomfortable, to try to get all the food off my plate.
So it really isn't, when you went back to your social setting, it's not a social setting for you at all. It's some kind of a test.
Well, I guess I don't think it's as bad as when I eat with people, but I think when I go out somewhere by myself, that I feel a little conspicuous to begin with by myself.
You say that, but I've eaten with you many times. I've never seen you not finish everything on your plate. The two people who do this are you and Sheepy. Mm-hmm. And then Sheepy takes a napkin and wipes his fucking plate down. To make sure that there's nothing on there.
He's helping with the dishes.
Well, whatever these fucking crazy OCDs are, they're there. I'm just letting you know that kind of stuff that you do makes you more of a freak show than the thing that you're trying to fucking hide. That your cover-up of this thing.
Because that's exactly what it is. It's insanity trying to gain the waiter's acceptance. I mean, it's just nuts.
So you want to gain the waiter's acceptance. You want the waiter to accept you.
I think if there was a base feeling underneath it, it was being accepted by the waiter.
And what would that be, to be accepted by a waiter?
Just not...
What would that feeling be? Would it be contentment? Would it be an achievement?
I think it would actually be, relief. Would be the feeling.
By the way, we got any odds? She's fucking seriously giving me heartburn today. No matter what we talk about, it always comes back into this fucking madness. Dave, you were a waiter for many years, right? How many years?
7 years.
Were there any clients that you accepted or didn't accept?
No. This Fez portrayed it.
You didn't ever make fun of a customer.
Insanity is dead on. Here's the thing. Fez, we're total strangers
who just are trying to make money.
Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you feel that way with everyone? With trying to gain the cashier register, the register at the cashier's acceptance or the barber's acceptance, or all. Who fucking cares? You'll never see these people most of the time,
right?
Unless you go to the restaurant every day. But we're strangers. We really don't care about you.
Here's John. John, you're on Run It Fez.
Hey, with Fezzi, I think the problem that he has, he judges everybody else, and it seems to me like he's concerned that everybody else is judging the way he does, and I don't think that's actually the case. Most people don't give a shit what you order.
It really is kind of interesting because you're terrified of being judged.
Right, yeah.
And you do judge people.
Oh, constantly.
But you know that you're not normal.
Right.
You're abnormal.
Yes.
But let's suppose this. Even if Dave said, hey, do you believe it? That fucking guy ordered 2 desserts and he says it in the back. So what? It really has nothing to do with you. Just like if some stranger yells at you while you're driving, you drive like shit. Or there's no reason to take any of these complaints on from anyone else unless they benefit you. If somebody said something to you and you thought, there's some truth there, I could make some changes, that's one thing.
Uh-huh.
It's a whole nother thing to worry about being judged and being destroyed particularly by a fucking stranger. But again, you're going to be the person who has to decide how you want to live your life, no matter what else happens.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yes, that's true. But it's just, it does feel like some sort of, I don't know, like a social test if I go into a restaurant by myself.
Well, you don't. So that's not what we're discussing at all here. You know what I mean? You've now taken this into being by yourself, but you told us that you order in. Have you ever been out to a nice restaurant by yourself or just a diner?
Probably just a diner. I don't think I've ever been to a nice restaurant by myself.
All these things that you're talking about have nothing to do with what you just said. It's when you're really going out with other people. And again, I've never seen you not clean your plate. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but, and you told me totally different reasons. You told me you had to do it as a child.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that would probably be the reason more than the waiter. Unless you're putting the waiter as your mom.
Well, yeah.
I think that you have a tendency, this mom thing follows you around.
Yeah, I think that's where the judging thing comes from. Because that was the entire family. That was grandparents. Oh, God, if you ate at my grandparents' house, it was even worse.
Yeah, everybody's grandmother wants them to eat a lot. But then you grow up and you start to live your own life. That's where I'd like to see you get. And I know I'd like to see you get there because we discuss this 15, 20 times a week. Your progress so far, nil. It's 0. You're worrying about strangers accepting you as they hope for a tip.
And he said that his dining experience was a social test. Yeah. Like he's Michael Douglas in The Game.
There's no social test. First of all, you could not live in a more relaxed fucking era in a more relaxed country. People wear sweatpants in the nicest fucking places now. Guys will go out to the nicest restaurant and you'll see a guy wearing a T-shirt that says, "Don't fuck with me, I'm serious." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people don't care. The social thing that you worry about could not be more lax in this.
And speaking from a waiter's viewpoint, a lot of times being a waiter, you're actually just being more social with the other waiters. You're trying to hit on the women and stuff like that.
You're living your own life. You're having your own job.
You have to be an exceptionally, unique customer, a real asshole or, someone who's bizarrely attractive or something for people to notice you. But most of the time, 90% of the people, you're just meat. You're meat too to the waiters. And so, Fez, I'm telling you, they're not judging you. Don't fear that.
And also, you're in New York City, right?
Yes.
So, what's the reason let's suppose you just go out and say, I'm dining alone. What would be the problem there for you?
That, eyes would be on me.
Because,
it's like, why is he there by himself?
Okay. And that would mean what?
That, I was some sort of social loser or something.
Right. So you're a social loser because you don't have a friend?
Maybe that's what it is. I think maybe, as I think about it more, maybe I put like the waiter or the waitress in like the dining companion role, since they're the only person I'm interacting with during the meal. And it's
again, this doesn't happen. The fact that you don't already go out to eat alone. Okay? So this thing that you're saying that you do, you haven't done. You're just saying maybe you would do. You haven't even tested it. So that can't be it. My point is this. If you, and again, if me and you ate, I would not be sitting and judging on the way you eat your food. Nor would Dave, nor would Hicks. They would be eating their own food and probably talking about work or movies or music or chicks. Right. Okay, so there's no social test. Mm-hmm. If you went out to eat with the boss, he would be thinking about your work, not the way you eat. People tend to think about money and business in these situations and not the way the other person eats. But again, let's just take that back. Let's see if we can't get you to eat alone. You're in Manhattan. There's tons of people here from all over the world for business. Some of them are traveling alone, right?
Uh-huh.
It might be their only time to come to New York. They read about great restaurants. Why would they give up the opportunity to go there and try the place because they didn't have a dining companion? Why would they stay in their room and order a $15 fucking bad hamburger delivered upstairs? Wouldn't you much rather go out and try Bobby Flay's place or go to London? Yes, that would be the thing. And those people dine alone. If you're in New York, you will see people, women, men, dining alone, dressed up to do it, ordering appetizers because it's a dining experience that they may or may not ever have the opportunity again. And when I look over at that, Fezzy, instead of seeing a loser, I see a confident person. I see a person who's confident enough to enjoy life. People go to plays here alone. They go to films here alone because, quite frankly, they're traveling.
It's easier. I mean, quite frankly, there's a pleasure to doing stuff alone.
I like the fact that you and I said, quite frankly, back to back. Oh, really? Like a couple of fucking idiots.
But I mean, no, in all honesty, my wife doesn't like going to movies by herself, so I'll go to the movies, I'll go to movies by myself is what I'm saying. And I would have no problems eating alone because she might not want to go to a restaurant. I do. It's fun, it's simple, and you can still get, the good food and stuff.
Jay, you're on the Ron and Fez show.
Fezzy, when you eat alone and you're afraid that the waiter will think that you're a social loser, I want to ask you, do you think that you are a social loser?
I think when I eat by myself, it's that's an uncomfortable thing. Like Dave mentioned, the movies. Movies I can go to by myself. I have no problem.
That is a loser.
Really? No.
Of course not. I couldn't give a fuck.
Well, what's the difference between that and the restaurant?
I don't, the eating thing, maybe I see it as more of a social thing where a movie isn't. You're sitting you're sitting alone in the dark. You're not going to have conversation anyway. I think.
Here's the point. Do you think you're already a social loser for the way you live your life?
Yeah, I do. I feel.
So that's going to follow you. That has nothing to do with the dining experience. This has more to do with you don't see yourself as acceptable. And the fact of the matter is, you're not acceptable. So what? Who cares? You think Dave's acceptable? No.
No.
None of us are acceptable here. We do what we want to do when we want to do it. But you can't sit around and do this thing. I can't believe I'm back into this conversation again. It's going nowhere. I'm going to be in the same conversation tomorrow. Do whatever you want, whenever you want to. Feel like a nut. Whatever you do, panic. Because you're going to die. And everything you know will vanish and disappear. Because that's the only thing.
Not a good feeling.
It's the only thing you get anyway. Why am I in the same conversation again? We were talking about mascots. We took it into a little etiquette talk, and it comes back to his psyche. I don't know. It is I walk into a spider web that Fez fucking weaves for me every day. I've never talked about another human being so much in my life.
You probably talk more about Fez than yourself.
Well, I will say this. Not only that, but everyone I know will bring up to me during my off time, how's Fez doing? Does he seem like he's doing any better with this? I'm not kidding when I say he covers 70 to 80% of my fucking conversation time.
Off the air, too?
Yes, I'm mainly talking about off the air.
Wow.
If I fucking talk even to listeners. Is he doing any better? He sounded better last week, but then not this week.
So you're at this point, you're sort of like the Doris Goodwin Kearns of Fez.
Well, I
You're
think
just an expert historian.
Obviously, this is something I'm wrong. I should go to a fucking psychiatrist and say, why does this guy take up so much of my fucking life? Why can't I fucking slit the throat of the Ron and Fez show and let it die?
It's a great question. Well, we like it so.
Well, you were in hell here yesterday. Lord knows this fucking, this Chris Stanley could be anything.